it's time for camp food review. And I am in a very strange mood. I haven't actually got anything for you guys today, I'm sorry. Oh, actually, I take that back, I've got jerky. Do you want some jerky? Here you go. But anyway, what we're doing today is we're making some toasted sandwiches with egg and everyone's favourite, Spam. This video brought to you by Vikings. We are going to be using the classic Trangia because I couldn't be bothered with any kind of fire or anything like that. So we're going to go with a fairly easy, consistent cooking practice. We've got eggs, we've got some seeded mustard. Would have been a good opportunity to practice fire today because it's not dry here at all, so it would have been good to practice that kind of stuff, but that's not going to happen because we've got the Trangia alcohol stove. I really like this alcohol stove because, as I said, it's a very consistent heat, but it's also the first camp stove I ever got. I got this over 20 years ago, like 25 years ago, for school camp. My mother bought it for me with a sleeping bag that I still have and use, and a pack that I don't use, but could easily use. It's still in perfectly good condition. I haven't taken them. Sleeping bag I've used a few times, but this Trangia stove is fantastic. It cleans up so well with just a metal scourer. It's solid. It's got multiple bowls, which are a bit dirtier than they should be. Multiple bowls and a frying pan, and it all comes together really well. Same with my fuel container. It's all very, very rugged and worthwhile. Trangia are obviously not a sponsor of anything of mine, but I would recommend them to absolutely anyone. What do you want? So the other thing that I love about it is that it comes with a little, whatever you want to call that, and that is great because it dampens the flame a little and gives you a temperature control. It's not the easiest to work with, but it's pretty good. I also love how quiet. I saw a video where the gentleman making the camping video talked about how nice and quiet the alcohol stove was that he had, and it made me think and realise alcohol stoves are really quiet in that it's cooking away right now and we can't hear a thing. Bit of fluff, don't even know where that's come from. So, speaking of old camping gear, I think it would have been year 9 school camp Spam was the choice for us. Oh wow. This knife is much dirtier than I thought it was going to be. And on this school camp we had tins of Spam. And oh, come on, Spam. Obviously the dogs like the smell of it. Oh, there we go. And so recently I thought to myself, let's try Spam as a food. I practiced this meal with a Spam that had bacon in it. This version does not, so we'll see how it goes. So I decided to do this as a bit of a nostalgia with the Spam, but I've got no idea how it's going to go. But I think it'll be fine. As much as Spam's got a bad rep, it's just meat. I feel like I could have a nap. And here we are with a quick voiceover to explain that I accidentally hit the settings on the camera, which have given us a nice sepia tone here. So for the rest of the camp food review, it's going to look all emotional and a little bit old-fashioned. Here I am cracking some eggs onto the Spam, and now back to the regular audio. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Thanks. Bye. Bye. So for those playing at home, it is half the tin of Spam, which is a decent amount of Spam, and 2 eggs. I don't have a fork or anything, but that's alright. This is far from pretty, and again I feel like cheese would have done a really good job holding it all together, but we'll see. And I'm using so much more fuel than I would like. It's the one thing about alcohol stoves is I feel like they use a lot of fuel. It's not a quick fire, but because I don't have to fiddle with it or anything like that, it's working out well. I'm not in the mood for too much patting and cuddling today. So if you guys want to go and explore, that would be great. But of course you don't. Okay, go for it. Ow. I was going to have barbecue sauce to add to this, but I don't. So the cheese would have helped. But it's a pretty good sandwich with dog fur. The bread's shit because it's like cheap bread. Like, this is a real cheap sandwich in my opinion. But if I was camping and hiking, this would be a good sandwich. I think the seeded mustard, like almost any sauce when you add to a burger or a sandwich, the seeded mustard is fantastic. It's a great addition. And of course the infused olive oil. Very generous with that, I am. The spam's probably like really just plain, and so the other flavours, even the egg as an extra flavour, works really well. And so yeah, as a cheap, easy to make, if I was camping, this would probably be pretty good, especially all the protein, the eggs and stuff. I'm thinking next time I'm at the supermarket, I might not get spam, I might get one of the even cheaper versions and see how that goes. And if it's not obvious enough, I am very much trying to minimise my spending at the moment. So, some shitty cheap bread and some spam and eggs. Could be worse. Could be much worse. Yeah, a thermos of coffee would have added nicely. But what you gonna do? I actually didn't bring any water or any drinks whatsoever. Even some water would be nice. Well, I think that's it really. A thumbs up for this one. Well, that's camp food review for this week, for this episode, for whatever you want to say. I'm going to make another one and then head home. Just a quick additional thing here. The alcohol stove is fantastic. Absolutely love it. Cannot think. One bad thing about it though, that is that the carbon on that is caked on. Like, that is just crazy. So that's one thing that kind of sucks. I've noticed no matter what the fuel source you use is, there is some kind of carbon residue. Smoke does it as well when you're using, what's it called? Fire, just using twigs and stuff. You just can't avoid it, I don't think. But it's kind of frustrating because it's something else to clean. But these things happen. Welcome to the greenhouse. It's winter here, and so the greenhouse isn't exactly hot. It's been getting a bit of sun recently, which has been great. But what I'm thinking I want to do is I want to try and artificially stimulate some heat in here. So one thing that works really well for stimulating or for creating heat that you don't have to put any effort into is compost. You can do hot compost and cold compost. I really like cold compost. I'll do another pod or another segment at some point about cold compost. But what I have found over the years when I've been composting is that grass clippings work really well at generating heat. And mulch works really well at generating heat. I'm very lucky to have a mulcher, and I've got enough lawn that I can mow it and use that lawn in my compost and in this experiment. So what I've done is doing layer after layer of grass and then wood chips. I have made what I hope will become a heat generator. Hey doctor, up here. Yep, yeah, there you go. Or shakies. And apart from being a fun little spot for the dogs to dig or to sit on, I don't think she really cares too much for it. What do you reckon? You can go if you want. You good? You good? Yep. Hopefully, this thing will generate a bunch of heat, which will then make in here much hotter. That being said though, it's quite moist and damp in here, which is not a bad thing at all. There is actually some water on there, and some of the leaves have got quite a bunch of moisture on it, so it's going quite well in here at the moment anyway. Doesn't really need that much help. The cool thing about this is that once this is all done, can you get down? What do you want to do? You going to sit down? You're doing really slow circles. You can actually sit down on that. You are. Didn't see that coming. Because the wind's shaking things and there's a bit of moisture and dew, I think you would call it, on top of the thing, it actually feels like it's raining in here a little bit, which is yet again a fantastic thing for the plants, getting that cycle going. Hopefully this thing will generate a bunch of heat. If it doesn't generate heat, that doesn't matter, because this is all going to break down and become really good compost, or at least garden mulch. It's going to become good stuff for the garden regardless of whether it heats up or anything like that. It's going to be really great. I've got another bucket here. Dr. Deb. Good girl. I've got another bucket here, which is a bunch of barely mulched up wood chips and leaves and things. No grass in this one. The reason why I am really happy with it though is, and let me just reassess the camera. Hopefully you can see in this area just here, it's got mycelium or fungus or mushrooms. It's the start of mushrooms. So all this stuff here is breaking down, starting to break down, and starting to break down into soil effectively. Eventually it will become soil. Mulch becomes compost, compost becomes soil, and this is such a benefit to the garden. All you have to do is throw all of your leaves and small branches and things onto your lawn. And this is such a great thing for your garden. All you have to do is throw all of your small branches and things that are only about that thick, and your leaves and maybe some thicker ones if you don't like your mower that much. Throw them onto your garden, mow over them, and then put it all into a bucket like this, or into a rubbish bin, garbage bin. Have a couple of these around, put them in here, put a bit of water on it. This is quite moist at the top anyway. It's a bit drier down the bottom, or down a bit further. And this is taking ages to break down. This isn't going to be fast. The smaller you've chopped things up, the quicker they'll break down. So if you've got a mulching mower, use that mower to mulch up stuff. It'll break down much quicker. The other big pile with the grass clippings are going to help everything break down, and hopefully over time we should see it shrink down as well. But this one is coming along nicely, even though it is still very thick. The fact that there's all this white mycelium, mushroom, fungus, whatever you want to call it, in here is just fantastic stuff. This is going to... I was hoping this one would generate a bit of heat for in here. I don't think it has, but it is certainly breaking down and becoming useful material. My philosophy and theory is that nothing should leave the property. The minute you take something away from the garden, from your garden, you are losing money effectively, but you're losing nutrients. We should always be trying to put things back into the garden, back onto the soil, back onto the garden bed. If you really want to get a good lawn, you should mow as often as possible and only take a millimetre or so and leave it on the grass. I just got a splash of greenhouse rain there. And that way your garden or your grass never loses anything. Don't take those clippings away. That's grass that you've earned that grass. You've grown that grass. You throw that away, you take that away, you're losing money, you're losing nutrients. This is one way I think that's really good for regaining some of that nutrients. Again, this isn't going to be quick. This is going to be weeks, months. This is a long process. You need somewhere that you can put it and let it go. But this is like compost. It's just a slightly different, mulchy version of compost. So yeah, that's the greenhouse for this week. That seems dorky and stuff, doesn't it? So for the first time that I can remember, I've got a blood nose. And I don't have... Wait a second. I actually have some napkins here from the rubbish that I haven't taken out of the car. Yeah. What does it mean when you get a blood nose? Just put that in there for now. Whilst I have something to eat and prep to hit the beach. This car park that you would have just seen as I came in is not like on a busy day. This is completely full. And there's a second car park and it's all very busy. But I've picked the perfect day to come down here because there is no one here except for a couple of cars. And one of the caches is just over there. And then the others are... Oh, I'm tempted to go park. I might walk down the beach. We'll see. We'll see. So for this one, we are... this is number 8, apparently, of a of 8 series, 8-part series. That helps you find clues for the Land of the Giants cache. But a few of the logs, previously there was a bunch of logs saying that it was gone, and then there's other logs saying that it was back, blah blah blah. And most recently, 2 people have someone said they found a holder that it sat in, but no actual cache. Another person, 2 people have said that, and then another person has said that they found it. So yeah, we'll see what we can find. We've got very little Muggle interaction, but based purely on what I'm looking at here in the terrain, I would assume I mean, that looks like a path, doesn't it? But that would be a terrible place for a cache, even though there's a bunch of wire up there, which is interesting. There you go. Is that it? Is that some kind of sticker or something? Crab remnants. A receipt docket in there. Yeah, so I feel like I found it, but I don't feel like there's anything there for me to... So the other 2 caches are a bit further along that way. I really can't be bothered walking on the beach right now, so I'm going to drive back and somewhat naughtily park on the side of the road area, and then just quickly jump and try and grab them. Bit of a shame to not get that one, but a couple more and it's still been a good day of caching. So this is apparently part of the Mornington Peninsula walk of some kind, so it's kind of cool. Now we're finding one called Gunner Matter Views, which I think means we're going to pop out. We're going to pop out onto the beach soon. I've got no backpack because this isn't going to take long, hopefully. That's what they all say, though. I went the wrong way. I parked and then went back from the car when I should have kept going forward. So I'm now walking directly back from where I just was. You can go that way, which is kind of cool. We're going this way now. That's going to be interesting. You can't do anything fun here. Can't have your dogs, can't have a fire, you can't camp out. I think it's a fairly famous scene in Mad Men, where they're having a picnic. I'm going to have to do a little bit of bush bashing here. But they're having a picnic, and at the end of the picnic, they literally, pardon me, just shake off all of the rubbish from their picnic blanket, rug, and throw it onto the grass. And we all laugh because in our modern times, that just is absurd. There are still signs that say, please take your rubbish with you, because people seem to think that when they come to places as absolutely stunning as this, that they just leave rubbish and plastic and all that kind of crap. Everything you bring here, you take away with you. That's what should be the attitude. It's a bit windy, so I don't know what kind of audio you're going to get, but I stopped and pretty much was right on top of it. The GPS suggests that it's somewhere just in here. I'm thinking if I go around, might be the best way to go, but I don't want to. So the notes in that said that it's hanging with a view, and it's been replaced with a bison. So I'm doubting that it'll be on that side, because that would be a bit too hard to get to. Really got to. There are these things called dump pouches. Oh, sorry, just climbing up the fairly steep grass there. There's these things called dump pouches, which is a thing you put on your belt, and it's a folded up extra pocket. I want to get one just so that I can collect rubbish when I go to places like this. Anyway, how pretty is that flower? Just in there. That's really nice. So, I think it's in here somewhere. I'm going to put the camera down and have a look for it. So the clue said, take a seat and look at the Cape Shank lighthouse, which is there, and that it's down low. So I did that on the wrong side and it didn't work, but I just did it on this side, and there we go. So a nice little bison there, similar to the one that we had at the car park at the last beach, in that you've got to unscrew it and leave the other part attached. But there we go, that's the log. I'll sign that and I'll be back to the car soon. So, based on the map, I parked just up there. Ooh, that makes sense as to why the audio was spiking a second ago. So I parked just up there, and the last cache was down there. And as I was going to that one, I walked past this sign which said Mornington Peninsula Walk, the Coastal Walk, this way, which again was one of the spots that I started going down before on that side. So I'm going to head this way, because the map says that the cache is directly this way. But because the map uses satellite imagery, this is not very visible on the satellite. I'm sure if I use one of my other iPhone maps that had tracks and stuff on it, I'd find it. But yeah, again, I feel like a bit of an idiot, because I've been daydreaming about wanting to go hiking and camping and stuff a lot lately. And this is another great example of how there are actually some good hikes and stuff around right near my house. And so a nice day hike like this is just fantastic. Even not very, you could easily say a not well maintained track, but sometimes those are the best. So, and look at the views. So I'm not lost, but I've definitely come to the wrong part in the track. This plant here, if I come back around, this plant here is incredibly pointy and spiky. So when you're trying to bush bash a little bit and you've got an incredibly thin t-shirt on, that's not good. But again, there's so much sign of animal life here, it's fantastic. All sorts of different tracks. It looked like I saw fox track and lizard track and something else that I'm not sure of. And you could hide in here quite easily. Shit, which way did I come from? Oh, okay. Now I am a little bit lost. Was it this way? I feel like it was this way. I had to sort of squeeze through. No, I don't think it was that way now. Maybe it's back that way. Okay. I am genuinely... Okay, I'm thinking it's over there now. How did I get here though? Through here. Here we go. That's definitely rabbit poo, and that looks like it is a hole of somebody's. A little bit of a bash there. Oh, that's where I went through to get to that little spot where I got lost. Beautiful views still. Okay, so that goes to the beach, and the acacia's that way. So I want to go that way, but, oh, is that, how did I, okay, wait a second. Oh, it's amazing how things look different when you, so I came through there, and I just thought that wasn't, oh, here we go. I came to this fork, and I went that way thinking it was the way to go, but it is actually this way. It's amazing how easily you can get lost or turned around and put into a wrong spot based on something so simple as a fork in the road. Today's caching is not over yet. The adventure continues. So we're pretty much on top of it, but there's an interesting little skull there. Not sure what animal that is. And a bone. I'm going to assume maybe that's a fox skull. Small fox. The GPS is bouncing around a little bit, but But this is an obvious spot and a win. So this is a definite stealth camp kind of spot. You'd barely even need a tarp or anything, depending on the season and that kind of thing. A plastic makeshift ammo can with a steamer in it and an official geocaching notification. Oh, my little pony! I've realised that I haven't brought stickers or patches or anything to possibly put in there, but that's alright. Sometimes you don't do that, sometimes you do. So as I sign this, I will sign this video off. It's now 3 o'clock, so it's been a 3-hour day, 3-hour caching experience. And if you do already cache, follow me, Bobby Freakout. Go to, or not follow me, friend me on the website. Go search me, friend me up, tell me that you watched a few videos and you liked them, and or tell me you watched a few videos and you didn't like them. I'll take anything. I'm just desperate. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day as I go back to the car and then go home.